morning, everybody. We're talking baseball. Great show lined up today, and we'll be all over the map with our topics, but that's okay. We got to keep it interesting during the off season. I have plenty of ways to do so. Glad to have the group here. Tyrese is back for his third appearance on the network this week. Glad to have you, Tyrese.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me again.
You're very welcome, Candy, with her timely research and insights of a topic custom made for her on the show. She'll hear about it in a few minutes. Candy.
Glad to be here. It's always good to talk baseball with you, gentlemen.
And Trent is going to be doing double duty this week. He's going to be coming on today, and then, of course, we'll be coming on Monday as well. Glad to have Trent Clark, the man who's been in uniform, known for his ring. Glad to have you, Trent.
Yeah, great to see everybody. Happy to be here and talking baseball Saturday morning.
And my colleague, Gabriel Garcia. I'll see him in a few hours. We'll be at the Canes Syracuse game. Well, we get to talk baseball, then we get to talk football. Of course, we'll be doing that a little bit at the end of this show for good reason, right, Gabriel?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's another wonderful Saturday for some baseball talk and NCAA football.
Yeah, well, I'll see my colleague in a matter of hours over at Hard Rock Stadium. And last but not least, a man who's aspiring to get into a press box. We're going to work diligently to try to get it done. His name is Eric Katz. Glad to have Eric on this morning.
Good to be here, Scott.
All right, let's start talking baseball. According to Jeff Hoffman, he says, I cost everybody in here a World Series ring, and he took the blame after the Game 7 loss, yielding Miguel Rojas' home run that tied the game at 4-4. Do you believe that he should take full responsibility for that loss, Tyrese?
Yes, I think accountability in this situation is what's necessary. I mean, it's just like Nestor Cortez giving up the homer to Freddie Freeman. I mean, timely errors, made the biggest impact in the game, and the Dodgers were able to capitalize. So it's very commendable that he stood his ground, took his accountability, and, is willing to take one on the chin.
Candy?
It's always good that you take accountability no matter what. Like you just have that shows who you are, and what kind of character you have.
Trent?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I'm grateful for a team member who steps up, but you can look at 20 guys in that clubhouse that could step up and say, hey, I could have done something different, could have done something a little better. These are all great players, and you could talk about a guy at the bottom of the lineup that hits a home run that's not common, but he's a great player too. Like, you have to be great to be in that league. So at the end of the day, I think this is just baseball. I really appreciate him going out on a limb for his teammates. But for me, this is like the young person who misses the field goal at the end of the game.
Right.
There were 141 plays before the end of that game that could have been played differently, so that kick wouldn't have mattered the same, right? So, it's his job, and he didn't have a great day at work, but did his best, and it didn't work out, and it stinks. But there's not a way in the world I put a World Series ring and the championship in Toronto on that guy's shoulders.
Gabriel? Gabriel, what are your thoughts? I don't know if he's frozen up or not. Gabriel, does this all fall on Jeff Hoffman?
He must be frozen.
All right, we'll come back to him, Eric.
I think in the moment, he cost him because ultimately he blew the save, and and the Blue Jays at the time were 2 outs away from winning the World Series. But remember, in extra innings though, they had a guy on third base with 1 out, and all you had to do is put one up in the air into the outfield, and then boom, we're not having this conversation. Yep. But Hoffman blew the save, sure, but Toronto had opportunities to win that game, and they ultimately didn't get it done. So you can't just put it all on Hoffman, because remember, extra innings, they had opportunities to win that game, and they didn't.
Okay, we have you back, Gabriel?
I think I am. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Go ahead. We'll work through it.
I guess I lagged a little bit there.
That's okay.
I like that he took accountability, but like others said, a lot of things happened that went wrong. For example, he may have given up the game-tying home run, but Bieber gave up the go-ahead. And then they had multiple opportunities to score more runs during the game, during extra innings, and a lot went right for the Dodgers. For example, when Miguel Rojas made that catch that he stumbled a little bit and he fired it to home, I thought the runner was safe, but no, they counted him out. And then when Ernie Clement hit that deep ball to the outfield that it was Paje and Kiki, that was an incredible catch made by Paje, and that could have easily, it would have been a walk-off because the bases were loaded. So I dig the accountability, but it's more than him. There's a bunch of other guys on that team that could have done better, whether it's on offense, defense, base running, you name it. But I dig the accountability.
Yeah, accountability is great. I feel bad for Don Mattingly, 2 outs away from winning a world championship ring. That part I feel the worst about. Of course, Don Mattingly stepped down. We'll get into that another day, and he's a free agent. But I'll get back to you in a second. But the reality is, this is a big stage. Go ahead, Trent.
Yeah, I think, when you look at this, there's a lot of blame to go around, right? And that's the challenge, is there's a lot of accountability to both Tyrese and Candy's point, right? But, at the end of the day, I think back to our 97 World Series, is it Jose Mesa's fault for blowing a save?
Right.
Or is it the coach's fault for putting a guy in who was having a bad couple weeks? This guy was not going well, while historically very strong. It had not been a good month leading up to that point, and he was uncertain and on uncertain ground. And now a lot of people in Cleveland point to the manager, like, why would you put him in when your guy was going well and you knew this guy was challenged? And everyone's an armchair quarterback the day after, right? Like, yeah, if you'd have just left the guy in going well, and if he'd have given up the hit that tied the game, or Tony Fernandez makes the error, is it his fault playing out of position? Is it Bip Roberts' fault for calling in sick on Game 7? Like, you think about all these situations. There's a lot of accountability to go around, and that's why it's a team. Everyone's involved in doing their best.
Well, let's not lose sight of the fact that Gabe and I ought to know Miguel Rojas is a heck of a player.
Heck of a player.
Right?
Yeah.
We saw this guy play right in our eyes. He's a good leader in the clubhouse, and he made timely plays. So if anybody deserves to be on the big stage, shining bright, Miguel Rojas does. Let's continue on. Well, Candy's going to give us an update on top prospects called up this summer: Roman Anthony, Jack Caglione, and Kyle Teal. Go ahead, Candace.
So the first one, we'll talk a little bit about Roman Anthony. He actually was born in West Palm Beach, Florida. He attended Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. He committed to playing college baseball at Ole Miss after his sophomore year. He was named the Broward County 7A Player of the Year by the Sun Sentinel after hitting .363 batting average with 5 home runs, 6 doubles, 22 runs batted in, and 26 stolen bases and 32 runs scored. As a senior, he batted .520. I repeat that, .520 with 52 hits, 14 doubles, 10 home runs, 40 ribbies, and 36 runs. He was also named Gatorade Florida Player of the Year and Florida Mr. Baseball. He's considered a top prospect in 2022 MLB draft and was selected 79th overall by the Red Sox. He signed with the team and received an overslot signing bonus of $2.5 million. He was assigned to rookie-level Florida Complex League Red Sox to begin his professional career. He later was promoted to Salem Red Sox in the Single-A Carolina League. He returned to Salem at the beginning of 2023. He was promoted to High A Greenville. Then he was promoted the second time to Double A Portland. He finished the season there, and then 2024, he started the season with Portland, ranked as Red Sox number 2 minor league prospect by Baseball America. He was promoted to Triple A, and then at the time of his promotion, he was posting a .269, .367, .489 slash line with Portland. In September, Anthony was named the top prospect in baseball by Baseball America. He was invited in 2025 to spring training and was assigned to the Boston Red Sox. Invited him. He was assigned to Worcester to begin the season. He belted a 497-foot grand slam home run on June 7th, 2025. And on June 9th, he made his major league debut for Boston. He did go hitless that first, but at age 21 and 27 days, he was the youngest Red Sox player to make his debut since Rafael Devers.
Okay, with that said, Gabriel, we'll take them one at a time. What are your thoughts about Roman Anthony?
Who was it that hit 520?
It was Roman Anthony. He
That's
did that
a
down in
video game.
exactly.
Down where?
He when he was in high school, he batted 520 as a senior at Marjorie
Good
Stoneman
Lord,
Douglas.
520. That's a video game score. I'm pretty sure they had him as a cleanup hitter. Do you happen to know how many ribbies he batted in? Because man, with 520,
40.
he probably led the way in runs scored.
He had 52 hits, 14 doubles, 10 home runs, and 40 ribbies.
All right, so he's got pop, or at least at the time he had pop, but he got on base a lot. Woo, that's a 52% success rate right there.
Overwhelming stuff. That's why I brought this up here. This time of year we can talk about top prospects. We'll be doing that a lot more in the coming weeks here in Talking Baseball. Eric talks about, and then we're going to break down the other two as we go along. But we'll focus on one at a time. Eric, some thoughts about Roman Anthony.
Roman Anthony is, he's proven he could stick in the bigs with the Red Sox. The Red Sox were a different offense with him, and their offense wasn't nearly as good without him. So I think the Boston has a good one there, and I think next year he's got a shot at winning American League Rookie of the Year.
Trent.
Yeah, I love, kids that prove they can keep hitting at every level are a big deal, right? Like I've seen a few kids that have hit 500 plus at high school, but they played in small rural schools. The competition wasn't very tough, and it was limited. But when you see kids that keeping out, and some of those kids move that Division I levels, and with the 9, they can't manage that. Rowan has proved that level he can manage it, and I think this is the difference of when you talk about a high school kid who signs and top 80 players in the country, and then you put him in this thing like he's working his craft 7-8 hours a day. That's what these prospects are doing ahead of the college kids. It's significant when they can get these high school kids out, and you're seeing that happen. You're seeing kids hit the bigs at 21, 22 years old, having lots of impact, and they've already got they've got the 10,000 hours in now. They really got a lot of hours in, and they're being trained up and hyper learning where they're being trained by the best. So at some of these folks, I'm looking at talent and I'm looking at coachability on a prospect being probably as just equally as important to getting them through fast.
Great stuff. Okay, Tyrese.
He definitely sounds like he has a lot of talent. And like everyone said, he definitely shows that he can play at the big league level. I'm just interested to see how Boston coaches help him mature in his growth. Because you don't want to take a person with talent and then have them be in like a Brett Beatty situation where they do so well in the minors that when as time goes on they have peaks and valleys when it comes to being in the majors. So if he can stay consistent, that would be great.
Candy, any thoughts on him? Then you're going to go to Jack Caglione. As far as I'm concerned, this kid Roman Anthony is just another cornerstone for the Red Sox, and that's what you need. But Red Sox, I know for many years have always been strong on player development. I go back to my years with the Florida State League, and they put out a guy I'll never forget. I'm trying to think. Jody Reed was one of my favorite prospects going on over the years. So the Red Sox are definitely known for player development for sure. So, Katie, some quick thoughts, and then you go to Jack Caglione. I know there's a lot, and then we'll have Kyle Teal. Then we'll move on to some other topics. Go ahead. Some quick thoughts.
One last little nugget. Anthony was named American League Rookie of the Month for August 2025 after hitting .304 with 6 homers, 13 ribbies, 4 doubles, 15 walks, 21 runs scored, 2 stolen bases, and a .520 slugging percentage and a .390 on base percentage for the month in 26 games. sounds like he started hot in high school and he's continuing that trend. Like Trent said, he's hitting at every level. So kudos to him and kudos to the Red Sox for recognizing that talent and bringing him up and having him on their team. With
Okay,
that being
now,
said, you switch, right?
right. So on to the next one, Candy.
Okay. Jack Caglione. He is from Tampa, Florida originally. He played college baseball for the Florida Gators. He was a two-way player, so he played as a first baseman and as a pitcher. He was selected by the Royals, 6th overall pick in the 2024 MLB draft, and made his major league debut in 2025. He did in high school. He had a two-pitch pitcher who featured a mid-90s fastball projected to average 94 miles per hour and measured up to 97 to 98 miles per hour, as well as a slurve-like curveball. While he throws as a first baseman, were projected to be 90 miles per hour. He did in his senior season for his unilateral collateral ligament in his left elbow while playing in the postseason All-Star game, and subsequently had to undergo Tommy John surgery. So Florida redshirted him his first year. To give you a in his junior year in 2024, he hit home runs in 9 straight games, including one against Jacksonville that traveled an estimated 516 feet. He tied the record for most home runs hit in consecutive games at the NC2A level. He surpassed Matt Laporta for the most home runs by a Florida player with 75. As a result of his power at the plate during the College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska, his opponents would often utilize a defensive shift during his plate appearances, with the third baseman positioned as a fourth outfielder. He was drafted Kansas City Royals with the 6th overall pick in the 2024 draft. He signed with the Royals on July 23rd and received a $7.21 million signing bonus. He was assigned to the Quad Cities River Bandits of the High A Midwest League to begin his professional career. In 2025, he was promoted to the Northwest Arkansas Naturals Double A Texas League. He still has yet to pitch at the professional level, instead opting to focus on his player development as the position player. On April 10th, a single that at the time was the 12th hardest hit ball ever recorded during the StatCast era. On April 25th, he played in right field, his first outfield appearance in college or minor leagues. On May 18th, he was promoted to AAA. And then on June 2nd, he was promoted to the majors and made his debut on June 5th. So he's had multiple home runs in games. He did in late July injure his left hamstring muscle. So, but those are a bunch of his stats.
All right. With that said, Tyreek, some thoughts about Jack.
It's very good to have a versatile player in your lineup. It definitely gives you a lot of security in a lot of places. Given the injuries that he has dealt with, I hope he doesn't regress. But I'm excited when young prospects show so much, show a high ceiling. So hopefully he can be effective.
Eric?
I mean, Jack Caglione came up this year with the Royals. He didn't spend a whole lot of time in the minor leagues, and he had his issues at the plate this year. But I think he'll come around. The Royals got a good one, so we'll see how it goes.
Gabriel.
So covering Canes baseball, we had the misfortune of coming across Jack Caglione. So for the last 2 years, he's been a bane for UM baseball. In the last series that we played him, we shut him down for Friday, and we barely, if I'm not mistaken, it was Friday, we barely squeaked the win. But then Saturday and Sunday, it was all Jack. I think he hammered about 2 home runs against us, scored about 4 runs, and he was part of the reason, a good part of the reason why the Gators won the series. And that's always a tough series, whether it's at home or away. And it was really nice looking at him. And ever since I saw him during those games, I said to myself, whoever gets this guy is going to get a nice piece for the organization. And yeah, he struggled, in hitting, but if he could translate his success from, college baseball and throughout the minors, he'll be fine. He'll be a nice piece that they can build their organization around, build a lineup around. And, I just wish that the Marlins had him.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But then again, not to segue too much, the Marlins aren't known to develop hitters. They're more known for developing the pitchers.
Right. Well, that's a good point. You're right. The Marlins are definitely an organization that does develop pitchers. Candy and I had a chance to see him play the Marlins last year, and he didn't look too bad, but I enjoyed being on the Florida Gators media distributions list as well as Miami Hurricanes, and I saw some unbelievable stats that were definitely incredible. And the Kansas City Royals have a stud. They're doing some good things up in Kansas City for sure. But Jack Gaglione is a stud. Go ahead, Trent.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like most professional ball players, two-way star out of high school, right? And you've got this person who's incredible. I think this is a nice setback to stardom kind of case. Probably became a lot better hitter because he did the UCL as a senior, loses his ability to pitch and strike out, puts his focus all on hitting, goes and gets some great coaching at Florida, and develops his process a little bit better. It sounds like he's really got that dialed in. I think that process has got to stay strong from college to pros. It's a big jump. The one thing I don't like about him is the challenge. I don't like. It's not that I don't like about him. The challenge with him is so few reps at the minor leagues. I mean, it's a significant equipment change going from an aluminum Secor bat to a wood bat. And while your process has to change a little bit. You have a very much smaller sweet spot. You really got to barrel stuff up, and so those reps. And it's not the level of coaching, because Florida has great coaching. It's the reps that he gets as a pro player, because you get 8 hours a day to practice, right? So he's not getting that at the collegiate level. So I think part of his woes at the major league level is just the reps, and he's going to get them and be fine. I mean, all of you guys have seen him, and he's a sweet swinging hitter, and so I look back and I think what probably really was a big hurt for a kid, tearing his UCL on a playoff game in high school, turned into probably a blessing to make him the hitter he is today. And to Gabe's point, wrecking the Florida, wrecking the ACC. He's an absolute hitter, and so he's proven that again and again. And gonna be fun to watch him advance.
Okay, final prospect we're going to talk about is Kyle Teal. Go ahead, Candy.
He was born in New Jersey. He grew up in Mahwah, New Jersey, and attended Mahwah High School. On the baseball team, he played shortstop primarily, as well as outfielder, pitcher, and catcher. In his junior year, he batted .574. He was also the starting quarterback for Mahwah's football team. At that time, he was considered a top high school catching prospect in 2020 Major League Draft, but he opted out. The Boston Red Sox did select him in the first round in 2023. He signed with them on July 21st and reportedly $4 million signing bonus. He made his professional debut on August 3rd in the Florida Complex League with the FCL Red Sox. He was promoted August 9th, so less than a week after he made his debut, to High A Greenville. He began the 2024 season in Double A Portland Sea Dogs. He was promoted to Triple A in August of that year. On December 11th of 2024, he was traded to the Chicago White Sox. He was part of 4 other guys that was traded for Garrett Crochet. He then was in the Triple A Charlotte Knights, On June 6th of 2025, he was selected to the 40-man roster and promoted to the major leagues. On July 23rd, he hit his first major league home run against the Rays, measuring 336 feet to right field.
Well, the fact that he was traded into Garrett Crochet trade to me speaks volumes because you develop prospects with the intent to get value. And the fact that he goes out there and advances as much as he does puts into a conversation of trading Yasevich. So you've got a guy that has a lot of value and you can compare him to a lot of different places. So with that said, Gabriel, pick it up from there.
Yeah, I agree. When you have that kind of a prospect already involved in a trade, I gotta say that's a homage, so to speak, to how he's done during high school, the minors, everything, his body of work up until now. And I'm looking forward to see how he develops and progresses going forward. Out of the three that we've talked about, he would be the one that I wouldn't say less interested in, but less, what's the phrase? Less impact in terms of stats and whatnot. But hey, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and it's how they develop too. That's another thing, going back to Trent, that is a valid concern for Jack Caglione because of his how fast he went through the minors, and it's a pretty big jump from the minors to baseball, and also the change of equipment, like he said. But I'm looking forward to see how he does going forward. Let's see if the organization could really, make him progress to the next level, because that's what it is, to see if they can step up to the next level and become a great ball player.
Great points, Gabe. So with that said, I'm going to transition over to Trent and let him build on what you just talked about. Great points. And I agree with you on a lot of points too, because again, of the three, and these are three good prospects. That's why I brought them on the show. And that's why I want to talk about them today. These are three good players. It just depends on the progression. What we saw with Yasevich was unbelievable. The fact that he made it all the way to World Series inside of a year. But it's hard to compare anybody to him. But when you talk about Garrett Crochet, that we all know what a stud he is. All right, Trent, pick it up from there.
Yeah, I think, they're going to lean on that trade because Kyle is such a great athlete, right? High school quarterback, prospect in football. He can do a lot of things, played a lot of positions on the diamond, and, another kid hitting 570 in high school, right, as a junior. I mean, you've got these kids and they're special athletes first. And you can do a lot with an athlete. Every coach loves the fact, like, I can ask somebody to do that, make the adjustment. And I think the other value that a guy like that brings with, you think about organizations that develop players. Back in the Cleveland days, I look back and think we traded Sean Casey for Cincinnati Reds for Dave Gerba, a 17-game winner the year before. Jeremy Burnitz, Brian Giles, Russell Branyan. I mean, you just go down the list of all these players we had that could not make the major league roster because that was stacked. And you're getting high-level value and plugging in athletes that will come in and make an impact right away. And Kyle's now proven himself to be one of those guys who can make an impact on the other side for the other program. And they get a bunch of value because giving up Gabe is a great athlete, but they got one in Kyle, and he's a little younger. So they're thinking they got longevity in him. And so, it's a pretty good move. And I tell a lot of players along the way, like, listen, your real goal is to play in the majors. And yeah, you'd love to play for the team that drafted you, but every guy that makes the roster is a major league player, no matter what city they're in. And there's a league minimum behind that. And that is where the money is at. And that is where the fortune and fame and everything, the dream lives. And stay focused on the prize because the process helps you get to the prize. And Sean Casey has a great podcast with Ed Milet talking about that process. That probably one of the best I've ever heard.
Great point. Sorry, turn over to Eric.
I mean, Kyle Teal was part of the Garrett Crochet trade that sent a bunch of prospects to the White Sox for Garrett Crochet. He did some good things up at Chicago. I think he's got some promise. I think he's a plug and play guy that the White Sox are looking to build around. With between him and Colson Montgomery, he showed some promise. Let's see if he can build on it this year.
Tyrese.
Whenever you are a multi-sport athlete, that just speaks volumes to the kind of energy level you're able to bring to a team. hopefully he can continue to harness all of his talents and make a big impact in the major league squad.
Candy, brief comments.
I think we've talked about in the past about how when you are a one sport only player, you're more apt to wear out muscles that you constantly use. If you're a multi sport, you're toning all of your muscles, and I think you're less injury prone. And so for Kyle, I think that's great, and it's going to work in his favor. Kudos to him for going through the progression that he's gone through.
I like that point. Multi-sport athletes generally have pretty good careers. I know a guy that we're all familiar with, many of us are Kirk Gibson, played for Michigan State and had a good career with the Detroit Tigers. All right, we'll lighten things up a little bit. Every once in a while, I'll throw a non-sports topic in, and this one's ideal because I have two cheeseheads on. That's why I'm putting this one on this one. Non-sports topic. Canadians consume more mac and cheese than anyone else. Oh my God! And you got Tyrese. Canadians of all people, everybody thinks of Green Bay and Wisconsin. Well, what are your thoughts about that?
That's very interesting. Mac and cheese is a classic, soul food comfort dish, and it's definitely, it definitely livens any menu. But to know that Canadians consume more of it, that's a shocker.
Yeah, that's why I put it on the show. All right, Candy, I figured you wondered why I put this one on. Now you know.
To say that Canadians consume more mac and cheese than what? Than one state, or then was the state of Wisconsin probably consumes more cheese overall, because let's face it, cheese curds are one of the their primary things. Cheese comes from dairy. Wisconsin's a dairy state. Anything dairy, they're going to be big in and high in. But yes, do we love our cheese curds? You betcha.
Yeah, the mac and cheese in Canada. Oh goodness. All right. Well, at least we have a Culver's nearby, so if we ever want them, we know where to find them. All right, Trent, what are your thoughts about this one?
Hey, it just makes perfect sense. It's a quick meal. It's cold. Mac and cheese makes you feel warm, fuzzy. You gotta love it, man. Like, for a small country, it's impressive that they consume more than anyone else, by the way. And I just don't think they've got the full menu, Candy, of Wisconsin, of all the cheese options. So I think they stay focused on their mac and cheese, right? Which, by the way, if you're an active person, and Canadians typically are more outdoorsy, they go out. You got to live in the cold, so they go ski, they go do stuff. Mac and cheese is a great little carb load and works for you.
There you go. All right, Gabe. I don't know what the Hurricanes are going to serve us. Maybe we'll get some of that today. But what are your thoughts about mac and cheese in Canada?
Oh, that's funny you say that. So for mac and cheese, it's a quick meal, cheap, delicious. It's like that liquid gold commercial. Be like that guy, And with the Canes, they always serve mac and cheese, and I gotta say it's pretty good. Better than what you would buy at the store, but nothing beats homemade, made from scratch mac and cheese.
There you go. Yeah, I like their mac and cheese over at Hard Rock. I did. So when Gabe wonders, when am I coming up with these off-the-wall topics? Don't worry, Gabe, as time goes on, my friend, there's a method for my madness. He's figuring it out. I've only been on two.
It's a good change of pace.
Exactly. That's why I brought it. Now when you start seeing these off-the-wall topics, Gabe just mentioned there, I'm not sure about number. So change of pace. Remember, you just mentioned that here on live show. Change of pace. That's why I incorporate them every now and then, and why we will to keep it real. Right? Is there something you want to add, Candy, or not?
I will, but I'll let Eric go first, and then I'll finish.
Gabe, remember what you just said to me. Change of pace. Yeah, no, now you know. All right, my brother. And we'll exchange hugs and handshakes later. Because I'm looking forward to seeing you later, brother. Go ahead.
I mean, it's warm foods, and it makes sense for Canada to be the one that consumes the most of it. So
there you go. All right, let's continue back to the World Series.
Scott, now I want to add.
Go ahead, Candy.
Because I did a little research, and it just is kind of funny. It says that 54% of Americans eat mac and cheese weekly, with the average person consumes it 22 times a year. Most people prefer it for dinner. 32% name it their top comfort dish. In Canada, they actually call it Kraft dinner because they buy Kraft mac and cheese. They buy 25% of all boxed mac and
Right.
cheese sold globally, and Canadians
Mm.
eat an average of 90 million boxes of Kraft dinner each year.
All right. Well, as of right now, I'm assigning Candy as a host of the show and doing the executive producer. So if I don't get to all the topics because her research is impeccable, that's okay. I'm just kidding with you, Candy, but I love her research. There's nobody better as our crack statistician than Candy Epling. Mark my word. Okay. All right. Let's continue on to the Dodgers, who topped the major leagues with 26 pitch clock violation. Evidently, it wasn't a problem in the postseason as they won the World Series. Some thoughts, Tyrese, that the pitch clock violation that they had in the major leagues didn't affect what they did in the postseason.
It's very interesting because this whole concept of the pitch clock is new. So a lot of players are still having hiccups, but to know that the Dodgers have had so many violations and they still seem to be a well-oiled machine and was able to capture the ultimate prize. It's very it definitely stands out a lot.
Candy?
Part of it is the Shohei Ohtani effect because let's face it, they introduced the pitch clock for pitchers, but they didn't expect a player that actually is a batter and could be on base. So there were a lot of, even in the World Series, there were a lot of questions with how much time they allowed Shohei when he was on base to go back, at the end of an inning, that he had to go back into the, dugout, get ready, and then come back out to pitch. So I have a feeling that part of it was that Shohei Ohtani effect.
Interesting point. Go ahead, Trent.
Yeah, for me, it's amazing when you look at the holistic coaching thoughtfulness of the LA Dodgers. I think what they've done better than anybody else. When you think about this statistic right here, you think about the fact like they're not leaving a stone unturned. They're looking at every single thing, and it's impressive. The smallest stats. They're probably considering how many mac and cheeses they're consuming in the Dodgers, and they're probably measuring that right now, which I love because this is a team that's hitting on all cylinders. And what I also love is they're not just throwing all the money at it, rolling the ball out there, and say, "Hey, go be the best because we bought you," and that's it. They are still working as a team, and I love this.
Gabe?
That's an interesting stat, I will say, but clearly it didn't affect the Dodgers. And to the other's point, it's a relatively new dynamic to baseball, and a lot of players are still adjusting to it.
Yeah.
Especially the ones with routines, whether it's a batter or a pitcher, and the ones that take their sweet time to pitch or get ready to set. It's been an adjustment for them. For the other ones that they just get ready and throw, or just step into the batter's box. Oh, they're just enjoying this. I think Miguel Rojas is one of those types of players that doesn't waste a lot of time and just steps into the batter's box. And if I'm not mistaken, I think was it Sandy? I think it was Sandy for the Marlins that he had to make a few adjustments during spring training when it came to the pitch clock and whatnot.
Right.
And then I think he got like 2 pitch violations within his first 2 or 3 starts. And for him, it was an adjustment too. But like you guys said, for the Dodgers, it didn't matter. It's just an interesting stat that people are still making adjustments. Teams are still making adjustments. But the good news is that it really doesn't affect, or at least I don't think up until now, hasn't affected the outcome of a game.
I agree. Sandy Alcantara is a stud. I'll be curious to see what type of year they have. And as the offseason goes on, we're going to focus our attention on the Marlins as well as the Mets and other teams as well. Right now, we're trying to get some other things done. But I agree with you. And as I noticed later in the World Series, I don't know if many people were paying as much attention to the pitch clock as they were as these situations became more intense. And the umpires, obviously, whether they were enforcing it or not, there are times when they could be a little bit more lenient. I don't know. But the deeper you get into the postseason and the moment gets bigger, and you wonder if they're taking the blind eye. Go ahead, Eric.
I mean, it's it clearly didn't affect him because most of the time pitch clock violations happen either in the beginning of the count or the middle of a count. So like nothing really, it doesn't really cause the damage that you might think given the timing of the situation. But it's been an adjustment for pitchers who are used to used to just taking their time out there and throwing the ball. But the Dodgers are gonna figure it out. They are one of the most progressive, believe it or not, despite them buying everybody, they're one of the most progressive thinking organizations in baseball, because they have Andrew Friedman, who came from the Rays, who are also very forward thinking. Except Andrew Friedman now has money to play with now in LA. Which the joke with Andrew Friedman is, he's changed, given that he couldn't spend anything in Tampa. But they'll figure it out. They're trying to work on their pitchers not getting hurt, which that remains to be seen. But they're a forward thinking organization.
Great points all the way around, Eric. I love everything you just said there. All right, one more topic before we go to a station break, and then we'll have four more topics as we get ready to wrap it up. Gabe and I obviously have the Miami Hurricanes Syracuse Orange later today. We'll talk about that game, as well as Gabe and I will plan for future baseball shows when we're there as well, because he's really done a nice job fitting in on the Saturday program. I'm proud of the contributions that Gabriel Garcia has made. And again, I expected nothing less anyhow since I've been working with him for a while. So with that said, Trevor Story is now actually went 20 for 7 in steal attempts at one point this year. He's the only player to ever have more steals without getting caught. And the other one, Trey Turner with 30. So when you compare Trevor Story and Trey Turner, let's focus our attention on Trevor Story in Boston. He's a stud, isn't he, Gabe?
Yeah, he's a stud. What is it, 27 for 27 on steals?
Yeah, that's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, that reminds me of the movie, what is it, Willie Mays Hayes, Major League Baseball, steals, never gets caught. I wonder if he has some gloves hidden in his room for each time he steals. But you would love to have that kind of talent on your team, getting into what is it, stealing second base or getting into scoring position. So that way you're setting up the guy at the plate to drive you in with just a single. Speed kills, and he plays in such a way that he would be an excellent leadoff hitter in any lineup that he's in, because that's, you're already threatening early if you could get on base and steal.
And Trey Turner's another animal, isn't he?
Another animal entirely.
Oh, yeah. All right, Eric.
You can't replace that kind of talent if you trade him away.
Yeah, that's for sure. Again, speed kills. You said it right there. But I love reading stuff on Trevor Story. Go ahead, Eric.
Well, it's speed's like, with the bases being bigger now, speed has come back into the game, and to go 27 or 27 is pretty impressive, because but nowadays stealing kind of happens more in the pitcher, because the art of holding a runner has kind of become lost. Right. So there's a little more advantage there for the runner.
Trent?
Yeah, I have a love-hate with the statistic. I love to have the Trey Turners and the, Trevor Stories on the team, because it's an absolute threat, right? It's an absolute weapon. My challenge is with coaching here. How come Trevor Story's not 72 for 77? He's 27 for 27. He clearly has skill. Speed kills. Use it. And let's take some risk and take some chances. The fact that he's never getting thrown out tells me we're not taking enough risk.
Tyrese?
I think, that stat shows, when you have great feel for the game, great instinct, and, instinct and feel is something that you can't teach a natural born athlete. Either they have it or they don't. And like Gabe said, when you're able to advance your team and put them in a scoring position, it definitely helps the hitters. So it's definitely interesting.
Candy?
He is also one of those that started out in his high school career. He played two positions. He played pitcher and shortstop, and he also played football. But he stopped playing football because he wanted to really focus in on his baseball career. On August 26th, he hit his 200th career home run. With that home run, he becomes only the seventh player in since 2016 to record 200 home runs, 150 stolen bases. He joins Jose Altuve, Mookie Betts, Francisco Lindor, Shohei Ohtani, Jose Ramirez, and Christian Yelich. Those are some big names. So he's got that's a great line. I mean, speed, that's awesome. Good for him.
All right, with that said, go to a station break.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, tuning into the enduring wisdom of visionary leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth, talks about his 40-plus years in the media business, how it has evolved. You can get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content. Go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. If you want to advertise or sponsor a show, call Scott 954-304-4941. If you want to be a guest or have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. But most importantly, if you see that red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, that means you haven't subscribed to us yet. Please do so. Click it, like us, share us, and then turn on your notifications so you're notified every time we go live. Back to you, Scott.
Great stuff, Candy. All right, talk about our featured topic of the day, and that's closer Aroldis Chapman is thriving in Beantown, without a doubt. Think about how time flies. That actually, when you think about Aroldis Chapman, that made his debut 15 years ago, and he's still throwing 100 miles an hour. That's amazing for this guy. But when you think about him, okay, that the Red Sox and Aroldis Chapman are in agreement on a contract extension of the 2026 season for plus an option for 2027. He vowed he was never going to play for the Yankees. But let's just talk about Aroldis Chapman in general. He's found a home in Beantown, and he's loving it up there, Gabriel.
Yeah, what is it that they got him for next year at $13 million, and then the next is the 40 inning vest for the following year, so he's looking at $26 million in total. And no, he's a southpaw with velocity, so they locked in the back end of their bullpen and secured the closer position for the foreseeable future. I think he'll be there for the next 2 years, and then after that, if there's anything offered, he might just retire because he doesn't look like he's going to go anywhere else. He's probably going to retire with the Red Sox, given that he's already 37 years old.
I mean, he found a home. That's all there is to it. He loves it in Boston. If you're being treated well, yeah, if you love it in Boston, you find a home, you stay there. And he obviously seems to have done that. That's why he's having a good time. That's why they love him up there. And more power to Aroldis. Maybe it takes players a little while to find a home somewhere, but when they're comfortable, you're appreciative, they like it, and then they pay you. My goodness. That's a great sign for Aroldis Chapman. I'm happy for the guy. Really, I don't care. Nobody should care about what allegiances we have all the way around. If a guy finds home in a spot, more power to him. I'm happy for Aroldis. All right. I don't think Eric Katz is because he has to face the Yankees, but we'll turn over to Katzy anyways.
Well, it took him a while to find it again because he bounced around from team to team, and
Exactly.
he was supposed to be that guy in Texas for them in the postseason, and wasn't. And ultimately, it was Jose Leclerc who ended up being the closer there toward the end of the year, not Chapman. I don't think he was used in the postseason. As far as not playing for the Yankees concerned, I really don't need him back. I saw how it ended with him getting that infection by getting a tattoo. The whole ending was stupid, and he doesn't need to come back because New York really doesn't want him back either. But as far as with the Red Sox goes, he's clearly found it again, and the Red Sox are all good for it. I originally didn't even like the signing because I saw the body of work. I thought this man his career was done. But he clearly found it again. The Red Sox are thankful for it. So we'll see how it does going forward. The fact he can still throw it over 100 is pretty impressive at his age.
Clarky's reaction to what you says it also. Go ahead, Clarky. Let's face it, really. Clarky has an affinity for Eric anyways. These two have been working together for a while. You have the young brash kid, and then you have a guy who's had the ring. That's why these two are on pretty much every show they can get on together. It's a good combo with Katzy and Clarky. Go ahead, Clarky.
I love Katzy speaking for all New York fans on Aroldis. It's good. It's funny, man. This guy, 100 miles an hour, 37 years old. First of all, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Second of all, like Boston, it's a great place to play when they love you. Yeah. If they do not love you, it's going to get ugly in a hurry. And as long as he stays in the great graces of those fan base, that fan base is some of the best in the world, but they are love-hate people. They will love you 1 minute, and the next minute they will hate you, and it'll come fast. So I hope for Aroldis he stays in. For him, I'll tell the one thing about Chapman that I think that everybody got it right. I don't think he's a starter mentality. When he was a 22-year-old kid, and everyone see the kid throwing 100 miles an hour, a lot of coaches back in my day would have been like, we got to make this guy a starter. We got to get him out there and have him throw 80 pitches. Part of this guy's longevity is he throws one inning at a time, and he throws the snot out of the ball as hard as he can. And by the way, it's given him great longevity in the game. Can I throw one inning a night? Like, he's going to get 30 appearances and get a $13 million contract because he's going to throw 30 innings. Can I throw 30 innings at, let's say, I don't know, let's just say 20 pitches, right? That's 600 pitches for the year and make another 13 million at 38 years old. Amen. And God bless you, Aroldis, man. Like, please sign me up for this thing. Just as you can fire me as a coach for 50 million, I would also like that. If there's a job out there that would like to fire me for 50 million, I am engaged in that job and I'd like to take it, right? So when you talk about Aroldis as he's aging, I don't, if you can keep throwing 100 miles an hour, why can't this guy play till he's 45 years old? I mean, he's proven he can get people out. He's a monster of a man. I mean, a big dude. You don't see the ball coming. He's got that. Who's our guy? 6'10", lefty. Who was the guy back in the day? Seattle Diamondbacks. Why am I not thinking of his name?
I don't know. You tell me.
Who am I talking about, Gabe? The big lefty pitcher.
Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson. He's got the
Right.
Randy Johnson release. There's a lot going
The
on
unit.
there. Yep.
The
And so when you
unit.
look at Aroldis as a lefty, it sucks because he releases the ball behind your body. There's already a natural cut across the plate. Now, couple that with 100 miles an hour, it's an issue. And we also talked last week about our famed setup lefty, the specialist, the freaking cut guy with Ossenmacher. Again, shout out to Aquinas College. And listen, he was a setup, and he was a lefty on lefty specialist for how long in his career? Aroldis might stay around till he's 50 being a lefty on lefty guy.
Interesting.
Would you take the guy for $2 million a year just going lefty on lefty down a playoff run until he's throwing 100 miles an hour, or
Without question.
Even if he slowed down to like 97 at 46, but he still gets 95% of the lefties out, he's a problem. This guy might catch Ohtani in earnings at some point because he's just going to get $5-10 million for the next 20 years.
Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Yeah, we have a couple more baseball topics. If you can hang around for those, Trent, that would be good. There's only 2 left anyways. And then Gabe and I and everybody else that wants to hang on, we'll talk about Miami and Syracuse. All right. Tyrese, what are your thoughts about Aroldis?
3 things you can't escape: death, taxes, and Aroldis Chapman on the mound. When he's on there, it's like he's taking your soul. I have never seen anybody, with as much impact as he has had for Boston. Like everyone said, he's definitely found it again. And he's gotten better and better. He's such a huge guy, such an intimidating frame. It's like you definitely want to shit your pants when you see him.
Well, okay. That's a little bit graphic there, but that's for sure. All right. Thankfully, this is not SEC regulated, but nevertheless, called AG, anything goes. All right, Candy, you have the final word on this. And then
he holds the Guinness Book of World Records as the fastest pitch ever thrown at 105.8. On April 19th of 2025, he threw the fastest pitch recorded for a Red Sox pitcher at 102.3. But 7 days later, he actually broke his own record and recorded 103.4. The one between July 27th to September 10th, Chapman held a historic hitless streak. During that time, in 17 appearances, he struck out 21 batters and only walked 4, giving up no hits or runs. The 17 appearances without giving up a hit was the 3rd longest streak in MLB history since 1901. Like, that's just an incredible feat. Like, and he's doing it at 37 years old, like we talked about. But like Trent said, short pitcher, short stints, has given way to his longevity. And so kudos to him for keeping it and still having the speed and the arm strength to do that.
Okay. All right. So who's missing? I know Gabriel is going to wonder about this one, but one of the things I like to do when I talk about teams is this. Okay, we're going to focus on the Washington Nationals and the Montreal Expos. About what player is omitted from this list that should be on. That's what when I say who's missing in the future, people will know. When you talk about a team's history, you wonder, well, why did they leave this guy off? And that's a high ideal behind this particular segment. So we're going to focus on the Nationals and the Expos. We'll talk about the outfielders: Andre Dawson, Tim Raines, Vladimir Guerrero Sr., third base Ryan Zimmerman, shortstop Trey Turner, second base Jose Vidro, first base Andres Galarraga, starting pitcher Steven Strasburg, relief pitcher Jeff Reardon, catcher Gary Carter, designated hitter Bryce Harper, and manager Felipe Alou. Okay, with that said, we'll start it off with you, Gabriel.
Oh man, who's missing? Man, I'm still reminiscing about Steven Strasburg over here. Ooh, who's missing
on that list?
Oh, I don't know. The list seems pretty complete to me. What do you think is missing, Scott? And you, Trent?
All right. Well, at least you're satisfied with the list. Okay, but
no, I'm satisfied.
Okay, that's fine. It's okay to be satisfied with the list. What about you, Trent?
I was trying to think of who. First of all, I did not know Bryce Harper was ever a Montreal Expo. I did not know that one.
Well, he wasn't an Expo or combining the franchises when they moved to Washington. That's why.
Very good. Okay. Thank you. That helps me actually. Yep.
Yeah,
that makes
okay.
Sense. Okay, that makes sense. And I remember there was another. I don't see a second baseman on here, and I thought they had a second baseman, Wilkins. Who was there was a Montreal second baseman that was really good.
Howie Kendrick?
What is it?
Howie Kendrick?
I don't think Howie's too old. He was an Angel. He was drafted by us, and he would have never been a Expo. Yeah, this is a little bit. I would like to say I've had. I should remember the Expos back in the day, but I think this is a really high quality list, by the way.
And Vidro, maybe?
Well, it was not. Vidro's not who I was thinking of, but that is a great second baseman, right? I mean, this is a thorough list here, Motor City, that's legit. And I coached Vladdy, and that guy was amazing. And Andre the Hawk, obviously, a legendary career. And we always talk about Gary Carter as one of the best catchers ever. So,
right.
And I don't think you can go away from just, an ultimate baseball family of Felipe Alou as a manager, and his, Moise was a great ball player. I mean, just a great family for MLB. So great list. I'd like to think. Okay, here's one guy. What about the other first baseman, Larry Walker?
Okay.
Larry Walker was a great Expo. I'd put him up. I might even throw Larry Walker ahead of Galarraga.
Okay, fair enough. And by the way, just a little interesting note about Andres Galarraga. I saw him playing the Florida State League when he was with the West Palm Beach Expos, playing at West Palm Beach Municipal Stadium. So that's an interesting note that he did play in the Florida State League when it was IA. Go ahead, Eric.
I would put in there, since we're doing Nationals Expos, I would put in there Steven Strasburg. He's
in there. He's in there.
I would put in then Steve Rogers.
Okay, that's fair enough. Tyrese?
I don't know many Expos, and I think the only national I can think of is maybe Juan Soto.
That's
helped them win the World Series. He helped them win that World Series.
Okay, that's fair enough.
18 years
Candy?
How about Gary Carter?
He's there
on that list.
Is he on? Oh, he's. No, I just lost it. Max Scherzer.
Ooh,
Yeah, there. I like that. That one's good.
that's
All
a
right.
good. That's a good addition to your starting pitching crew.
All right, I'm going to throw a few curveballs. That's why I put this one in there because I knew this would be a tongue twister. Number one, I didn't say how long they had to play on the list. That's why I threw you guys off. Once upon a time, Terry Francona played on that team. Okay. Number two, Pete Rose played on that team for a short period of time.
True. Yep.
And number three, the biggest one of them all, I think, is Frank Robinson, who engineered the move from Montreal all the way to Washington. He was part of that transition there. And I think Davey Johnson managed the Expos. Nationals.
He did.
So there you go. There's 4 names out there. So I was glad this was one of those ones where you can throw anybody off with those names. So I'm going to repeat what I said. Terry Francona, Frank Robinson, Pete Rose, and Davey Johnson. How do you like those 4 names?
In fairness, Motor City, I don't know if Terry Francona was as a player included with these guys as players.
I didn't say he had to be a player.
I give you that, but he never managed the Expos.
I didn't say he managed. I think he played for the Expos.
Yes.
Yes,
That's all I'm saying. I didn't say you had to manage them. Did I?
Well, you said all-star. I guess you said all-time line. Okay.
I said all time. I was deliberately vague to throw people like you. I threw a curveball and you whipped at it.
Yeah, you better keep it vague. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I don't have to throw the obvious stuff out there. It's all a tongue teaser, and you took the bait. Admit it.
Yeah. It's crap. It's crap that you held him off your list.
What's that?
It's crap that you held him off your list, man.
I got to revise the list.
I'm surprised you of all people missed Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Gabriel. What'd you say?
I think I gotta, because I looked it over a little bit. I think I gotta switch out Steven Strasburg. I respect the guy a lot, but I just realized, or rather remembered, Pedro Martinez. Didn't he pitch for the Expos?
There you go. All right, you get it there. All right, I'll tell you what, you get one there.
And actually, looking into him, I think he got like the Cy Young in '97. So I think he was pitching for the Expos at the time too. So yeah.
I'd also swap out Randy Johnson. Hey, Randy Johnson was an Expo.
Gabriel got that one in a nick of time. I'm putting it in there. Pedro Martinez. Good stuff, colleague.
Randy Johnson was an Expo.
Well, now you're coming up with them after I just got hammered you. Well, there you go. But all right, but that's
I got to throw a gotcha in there somewhere. Randy Johnson, my big unit. There you go, the big unit.
Well, Randy Johnson's involved in a lot of things anyway, so that's beside the point. One more baseball topic we'll let Trent out of here after this. How's that? Fair enough. It's not going to make you think that much, though. MLB to host a golf tournament with Players Associated. Players representing all 30 clubs are scheduled to participate in Capital One MLB Open Tournament coverage airs Tuesday night, November 18th on TNT, with additional highlights and coverage on MLB Network Thursday, November 20th. What do you think about MLB and golf being combined, Trent? We'll let you go ahead and comment on that.
First of all, I love this, man. I love this idea. I think it's going to be great for the fans. I think they're really going to love it. They're going to be surprised on players on their teams who are really good at that game and they had no idea. And by the way, they might not be the best on their baseball team, but they are the best golfer on their team.
Yeah.
And you're going to find out that there's a lot of pitchers who are scratch golfers. Like, these guys understand process, routine, methodical stability and repeatability, and they go out and practice. I'll never forget a conversation with Oral Hershiser telling me how much he loved to go hit at the range for 4 hours. And I was like, oh my gosh, I might shoot myself in the foot, right? Like, I don't want to do that. And he loved it because that's who he's about. He's about process. He's about repeatability. So I think this is going to be great for the fans, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. This is the first I've heard of this, and I'm super pumped up to tune in on this, and I will tune in on this.
Well, that's why you're on the Saturday show, because I'm going to throw different things on the Saturday show that I normally don't put on the Monday show. Yeah. Keep in mind, and I'll let you off in a minute here, but the thing about this is one of those lead into the MLB award ceremony later in the week. So they've done a good job, MLB marketing, combining this event leading into the MLB award thing. I know you're just about out of time, so we'll let you get going. Once you let everybody know, they get a hold of you a little bit about your book, and then the 5 of us will carry the rest of the way for the rest of this topic, and then Gabriel and I will talk about Miami and Syracuse. Anybody else that wants to chime in as well, go ahead, Trent.
Great. I am Trent Clark. You can find me at trent@leadershiplead.com. I am a serial entrepreneur. I help businesses grow 10x, and I coach them through it. So I went from coaching great teams to coaching business teams, and you check out my book, Leading Winning Teams, my TEDx talk, The Pain Exchange, and you can see me on my podcast called Winners Find a Way and Winning Ways. I always love joining this network for baseball talk and 108 Stitches. Just fabulous conversations and great leaders in baseball who have an insight that you don't see otherwise. My last topic, real quick, is a little off, and I just want to share it real quick because this is one of the best World Series ever, is I am so glad that we are talking about the successes and all the things. Usually World Series are bent and broken on a bad play, such as the 97 Tony Fernandez error, and people want to talk about a mistake. There were so many high-quality, wonderful plays from both teams that kept this game alive. It was maybe the most legendary game that people are going to remember, not for an error, but because of the high-quality, elevated game of play, which reminds me so much, Motor City, of your Oilers Panthers NHL Stanley Cup series of just high quality play. And man, the mistakes you can't accept, you can't help but think about. I've never seen another play like that, and it's amazing.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm glad you're participating, that you come on talking baseball on Saturdays and you don't mind giving your time on 108 Stitches, because the one thing I'll say before you go is they're totally different shows of what they are, because the topics that are introduced on Saturday will definitely not be introduced on Sunday, depending on Monday, because I have a different panel altogether, and certain things have to, and the fact that you're the feature guy on both of these, especially on Saturday, is great. And I know that you're a baseball lifer in every sense of the word, Trent, and that's why I appreciate you in more ways than you'll ever know. I'm looking forward to seeing you finally in person and making a book exchange as well. So meanwhile, I know you have to get rolling, so we'll take it the rest of the way, Trent. Meanwhile, we'll see you on Monday night, okay?
Before Trent goes, I just wanted to let him know that I'm honoring what I said last week. Even though the Blue Jays did not win, I'm still wearing, the jersey right here.
There you go. That's okay. You're a man of your word. He had to get going. With that said, I'll let you go ahead and carry the baton. What are your thoughts about the golf tournament game?
Okay, so full transparency. I'm not into golf. I'd rather watch paint dry than watch golf. But considering this, yeah, I think I just pissed off half the viewers.
You really feel.
It's okay. Honesty is the best policy, right? And since it's, with baseball, I think it's a great opportunity for collaboration. Both sports can benefit. Everyone's going to have fun. So even though I just said what I said, considering it has baseball players involved, I'll give it a watch, or at least watch the highlights.
Yeah, I'm not big on it either, but let's face it, they have a lot of big stars in golf. And hey, listen, anytime you can go out there and put golf and baseball, I think John Smoltz is a pretty good player too, as I understand. He likes to play the game as well. So go ahead with that, and I'll transition over to Cancy.
I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think it's something to keep the baseball community engaged, and it'll be interesting to see what we find out about players that we might know or not know about. How good their golf game is. But yeah, Smoltz has even tried. I think Smoltz has even tried to qualify for the U.S. Open.
John Smoltz is a heck of a golfer. He really is.
Yeah.
Tyrese.
I think you see a lot of crossover with a lot of athletes these days getting involved in, different golf tournaments and just, being spectators of the sport. So it's definitely going to help merge the two fan bases and, give baseball fans a different feel, something new.
Candy.
Capital One MLB Open tees off at the legendary Shadow Creek Golf Course in Las Vegas from November 12th to the 14th during MLB awards winning. Current and former major leaguers representing all 30 clubs are scheduled to participate in the Open, including Jimmy Rollins, John Smoltz, Justin Turner, David Wright, while Mookie Betts provides commentary as a correspondent from the links. I think it's interesting. I think it's fun. I think it's something different. It gives these players a chance to be out. And let's face it, baseball, while you play it for so many years, it's not a sport you're typically going to play in your 70s or 80s, whereas golfing you can. So it gives a chance for these players to, learn, showcase their talents on the golf course. The only thing that has always surprised me is how well batters can swing the golf club, because does it distract them and change their swing for baseball? Because as a tennis player, I always felt that playing golf changed my swing on the tennis court. So I just, that little nugget is will be interesting, and maybe that's why you're seeing a lot more pitchers playing, especially current ones.
Yeah, it's a great event. Can't disregard the history of golf. Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, certainly great legends of the game that built the sport. But I don't know, kind of like Gabe, I don't really watch it a lot. The reality is I have enough sleeping medication. I hope I'm not upsetting golf fans out there. I'll watch it if I get a chance, but I'm not looking for that to be another additional prescription that I end up watching. But I certainly pay attention to the winners, and I have a great history of the game. I really did. And many, many years ago here in South Florida, I ended up covering ladies golf is what I did, and you had some pretty good ladies golf back in the day as well. So with that said, it's great. I'm glad that both sports are going to collaborate, and I'll definitely be paying attention to the event. And it's a good event leading, like Candy says, into the MLB Awards ceremony. Final topic of the day, really, anybody's welcome to contribute, but Miami takes on Syracuse today. Gabe, give us a preview. Can Carson Beck get back on track, and is Mario Cristobal going to not have to answer questions about another November loss, because he's had to face enough of those in obviously recent weeks? I'll turn it over to you, Gabe.
All right, so we're switching to football now, right?
Yeah, well, just because you and I are going to be there and Candy will be there taking a picture.
All right, so since we're something up on a time limit, for those who don't
we have
know,
a few minutes. We have a few minutes, but that's okay. Only added this because of you and I. That's all.
Oh, okay. So for those who might not know, Canes football has been struggling lately. What's the phrase? Same stuff, different year, without throwing out a curse word. They lost to SMU on the road, and they paid for it with with the first rankings of the College Football Committee. They have them at 18th, and
Really?
The representative of the committee said that the main issue with the Hurricanes is consistency. They've been playing well. They were playing great in the beginning of the year, but once they started playing like Louisville, the problems began at the back end of FSU. We gave up 18, 19 points, something like that. The game got really close towards the end, and then we struggled against Louisville. We took care of Stanford as expected, and then we lost on the road at SMU. So now with 4 games left, the idea is to win out with the remote chance of going to the CFP. And honestly, I don't think, unless we dominate all 4 teams that remain, which would be Syracuse and NC State, both at home, and then road games against Virginia Tech and Pitt, unless we're dominating all of them, I don't think we're really going to get the ability to appear in the CFP. With Pitt, there's hope, assuming we won the 3 previous games, because I think they're ranked now, and that could be our 4th ranked victory. But as you can see, the committee ranked Notre Dame ahead of us, way ahead of us. I think we're 10th. And we have the head-to-head victory over them. But like the committee said, we just haven't looked good. They apply a degree of the eye test, which is frustrating. But as many fans and players would agree, we deserve to be where we're at because we didn't take care of business. We messed up not once, but twice. Right. They cut us some slack, and we still choked SMU, which was technically the last chance that we had before becoming ranked to pad the resume with a road win. Because even though we have a good strength of schedule, the back end of the schedule is a bunch of teams that don't really move the meter. So for NC State, they're not good necessarily, but the fact that they beat Georgia Tech is, cause for concern for the Hurricanes, because we cannot afford a 3rd loss. We get a 3rd loss, forget about it. And like I said, even winning out may not be enough. So we'll see how it plays out. Today, we're going to crush them. We should crush them. Syracuse is rolling out a QB that just debuted last week. Spoiler alert, it did not go well. They lost 27-10 to UNC. I'm going to say that again. They lost 27-10 to Bill Belichick's Tar Heels. That's a bad loss. So we should take care of them today. We should beat them 38-3, 42-3. If they score more than 10 points, I will be very surprised. It'll be a win.
And this will be one of those situations where, like Tyree said, you talk about being in the other locker room where things get quiet. Luckily, I don't go in the other locker room. All I get is Fran Brown. The question I'll have to pick on with Gabe is, what do I ask this guy here? And we'll have time over at lunch to talk about what my strategy is. Since Candy goes ahead and records Mario, and I'll get the other side because I like to get both sides of the picture. But the reality is this: Rhett Lashley got a signature win against his former coach, Mario Cristobal. That was a big win for SMU in its own right. But yes, you're right. Consistency is what it is. Miami has not gone ahead and demonstrated that, and it may cost them, despite the fact that Carson Beck came in as a very heralded quarterback. But in recent weeks, I can tell his draft stock has gone downhill as his play has regressed as well. So it'll be definitely an interesting game. I do expect a lopsided win as well. So with that said, anybody else want to quickly go ahead and add to it, and then we'll wrap up the show?
I just want to say that I think that in order for Miami to dominate these games, I think it starts at the offensive line, because I think and with coaching, because I think we need to not be a one-trick pony and make Carson Beck try and do it all himself. We have to rely on our good running backs, Mark Fletcher and that, and get them going. And I think that makes us then a full dimensional team. And I think then we won't, because I think the times that we've seen Carson Beck have other problems are when we went down and we became one dimensional, and the defenses of the other teams know that.
Well, Carson Beck has got to stop calling out his players. He has to do that. This guy at some point has to grow up. You can't place blame on himself. And the fact is, Gabe, what you said is Miami hosts a college football playoff this year. It's too bad we won't have the hometown team in here. I was hoping to see him there, but we'll see. You're right. They have their work cut out for them. Hey, nobody else has anything you want to add, Eric, real quick on this? Eric? I don't know if he's frozen either.
He might be.
I got nothing to contribute.
All right, no problem. With that said, let's wrap up the show by doing this, okay?
I've got nothing.
Okay, no problem. So what we're going to do is let everybody know to get a hold of us, Candy, with a final station break. Go ahead, Tyrese, real quickly.
You can find me, Tyrese Eileen Davis, on LinkedIn, Tyrese Eileen Davis on Facebook. On Instagram, I'm at _the think tank. And on Blue Sky Social app, it's Tyrese Eileen 00 at Blue Sky Social.
Okay, Eric, go ahead.
You can follow me on my X account at Sports Team News, and then you can check out my blog at bellyupsports.com, where I'm now writing about all things Brewers.
And what about that other thing that you're always known for, about hating teams? Come on, Eric.
Oh yeah. If you think I don't like your team, I probably don't.
Come on, that's your signature line. We're gonna have to get you to trademark that thing. That's really good. And by the way, you'll see him Monday night crushing it with some bigger hitters in it that he's definitely going to be salivating at. I know. I'm sure I'm going to get my Sunday call from him as I perk his curiosity. All right, I'm waiting for it, Eric. Okay, Gabe, I'll see him in a little while, but we'll put your information out there as well, brother.
All right, I'll see you soon. And if you guys need to find me, I work for Lemon City Live, and also you can find me on Twitter or X at Gabe Wright Sports. Go Canes and go Blue Jays.
And I'll tell you what, Gabe, I'm proud to have you as my colleague and my close friend. Great stuff. Candy, one more station break. We wrap it up.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. Scott tells some really good stories in this book. It talks about old school media versus new school media. If you're looking for a gift for any writer or future broadcaster, go get this book. It's a great manual and tutorial. Again, it's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where you find a bunch of other great articles, all kinds of more interesting information. So go check out the website. If you'd like to listen to podcasts, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcast. If you want to advertise or sponsor a show, call Scott, 954-304-4941. If you want to be a guest or have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Last but not least, that red subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. If you see it, that means you have not yet subscribed to us. Please do so, and then turn on your notifications. That way you're notified every time we go live. We have a plethora of great content, so go check it out. Monday nights, we talk baseball on 108 Stitches. Tuesday, we talk football on Inside the Pigskin. Wednesday nights, you never know what Scott's got up his bag of tricks on Sports Exchange. But we also do a series called No Limits, where we talk to a former U.S. Olympic bobsledder about CTE. This last week, we talked about CTE in the military and brain injury, so go check that out. Scott also does one-on-one interviews on the Motor City Mad Mal Show, and on Thursdays, he talks hockey on Sports Rap. And on Fire Up, you can come to the country club, as Scott affectionately calls my show Thursday night on Fire Up. So go check all of those out. We have some great programming besides the interviews that we have up that we put up separately. So we'll do post games from the Hurricanes, and tonight Scott will do post game from the other opposing side. But we have Alex Golish up there. We have Billy Napier when he was in Florida up there. So go check out our website or our YouTube channel for all those great videos as well.
Well, that does it for this edition of Talking Baseball. In a little while, Gabe and I will be talking football, Miami Hurricane style. Looking forward to see Gabe. And by the way, I'll have a gift for him probably next Saturday when we cover NC State. Why should I be telling that to him on the air when I'll give it to him in person?
Does that mean you got Don Mattingly coming?
Oh, I wish. Come on, man. I'm not trying. And we'll have to find out where he's going to be going. Maybe.
It's like what that character says in Top Gun. Don't tease me, man.
No, that's okay. I got plenty of things on my bag of tricks with Gabriel Garcia. He's he's one of our best additions to the Saturday show. He brings an insight to like nobody ever does on this show, and I'm proud to have Gabe as my colleague. He knows it. I've told him 9 million times, and he'll get cauliflower ears hearing it anyway. So what? That's what friends are for. All right, with that said, that does it. Well, Gabe, I'll see you in a little bit. And everybody, we'll see you next Saturday on Talking Baseball. Also, Monday night, 108 Stitches Baseball Talk. Have a great weekend, everybody. And enjoy everything that's in front of you. God bless and be healthy and enjoy family. Bye now.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
One last thing, we want to say happy Veterans Day to those on Tuesday, as it'll be Veterans Day. Thank you for all who have served. Thank you.
There you go. Great stuff, Katie. Great close. Thank you.
You're welcome.